Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to our Poland run in EU4 with me, your host, Luckymarine, where we're going to take Poland, hopefully, and we're going to form probably Ruthenia, I think. From Poland to Ruthenia, which is a cultural group just here. Of all the things that we can grab up here, cultural groups is not one of them, and that's disturbing. Anyway, Ruthenia just here. We'll flip to a Tsardom, or whatever these people have, which will allow us to get Streltsky. And then from there, hopefully I don't know, maybe we allow Muscovy to form Russia. If Muscovy forms Russia, then they're going to press east really quickly and just colonize all of this dead ground for us. And as long as we're nibbling little bits off them as they push east, then we should be able to keep them weak and just follow them as they go. And as they go, I'm hoping that we can get all the way over here into the Manchu culture, which is a blob just here. And we can have Streltsky and banners with Polish ideas. Polish ideas that are, oh here we go, Manchu ideas for Manchu culture over in at least Yanzan. Yaren, do you have Manchu? Yep. Haxi might be Manchu as well, Korchin might not, yep. Manchu is like this little corner bit here. Unless you do some culture converting, that we did in our King campaign. Anyway, I digress. Poland gets access to the Cossacks, or the Cossack estate, which allows for, if you tickle them in a very particular manner, allows plus 20% cav combat ability. Plus they have cav combat ability here of plus 33%. They also have, Poland is cavalry. Poland is cavalry. You push your cavalry combat ability up through the roof, and you stomp everybody with your groovy horse people. But I want to see if we can push them even higher. I also want infantry to match, not quite to match in terms of combat ability, but I want something from my infantry. I want them to be special. Now everybody wants to be special, but I'm hoping that we can get armies comprised of Streltsky, but also banners. And we'll also have a few of the special Cossack cav units mixed in there for good measure. Because along with the cav combat ability that the Cossack estate can give you, depending on how many provinces you give to the Cossacks, you can also raise a host. Very similar to the hordes, but the host raised by the Cossack estate of Poland give you special Cossack cav. So it's going to be an odd one, and it's going to depend on being able to cut our way across here very quickly. Not very quickly, but I'd like to see if it works. Also means that we have to remain a kingdom level title. If we pop up to Empire, then we can form Ruthenia, but it doesn't change our government type. And that's going to be an issue. I need to stay as kingdom level. I also need to flip Orthodox at some point. That's going to be odd. But we do have Orthodox provinces right here. And we can always do the lower missionary bar all the way to the bottom. And have a missionary down here, missionarizing, stirring up trouble. And we have Orthodox rebels pop up, and then they can flip my country. And we can have that pretty much at any point, which will probably help us out with Lithuania. Or we could flip his religion back to Orthodox, then he's only got a few Catholic countries to sort out. A few Catholic provinces, should I say, to sort out. I'm hoping for it will be the Jagiellon. first steps are going to be, hopefully, no, they will. They 100% will be. I will continue to reset this until we do get them. So it's going to be early Jagellian, allowing us to royal marriage into Bohemia. Austria will have rivaled Bohemia, so that when we go to claim throne on Bohemia, Austria doesn't get involved. We can grab an early PU into Bohemia. I also want the Ottomans not to have rivaled us. If the Ottomans don't rival Poland, you can improve relations with the Ottomans where they will give you military access. If they give us military access, we can no CB war into Byzantium, and that really, really hurts the Ottomans. It really cuts them down. If you can get into Byzantium and possibly vassalize him, he makes a great vassal because he's got a load of cores all over the Ottomans' face at 25% aggressive expansion and 25% cost and all that good stuff. So that's going to be a plan. So this is the walkthrough, talk through first episode, and we'll get into the game. And it might not be the game that that we continue with. The second episode will be when everything's gone to plan. It might be 2 episodes in, or it might be the second attempt, it might be the first attempt, it might be the 84th attempt. But if you're going to be gamey, then why not do it right at the beginning of the game, in the first 5 years or so. I mean, you've got another 400 years after this, but if you can get things set in the first 5 years, then it's gonna bode well for us. So, without further ado, with Poland, what have you got, Poland, apart from the stuff that I've touched on? Cav cost minus 10%. Great. If you're gonna have cav orientated forces, then you want them to be cheap. Max property cultures it's fairly weak as a tradition, but it allows less unrest in maybe a big culture. Say we do get into the Ottomans and we do mess them up. The culture group down here, Turkish is a big culture group, so being able to accept something like that is going to make us profitable, or the provinces and the states down here a little bit more profitable than they usually would be. Polish ambition, tolerance of heretics +3. Poland lends itself amazingly well to a humanist build. It gets to the point where you are as tolerant of heretics as you are of the true faith. It gets ridiculous, it really does. Which means you just never have uprisings in other Catholic provinces. Not that other Catholic, in other Catholic orientated sects, Christian orientated sects, I should say. Orthodox, Catholic, Protestant, Reformed, Anglican, if England flips to Anglican, Coptic to an extent. I mean, we are going to be eating our way into heathens, but humanist does a little bit for heathens as well, so that's all good. First idea, production efficiency. Now in the first age, maybe the second age, I think it's the second age, Poland gets plus 33% production efficiency, which is massive. It is massive. Production, it has knock-on effects on all sorts of things. Increases the value of the trade in your particular areas. Poland doesn't start in a great place for trade, but they do have claims on, or they will get claims on, the Teutonic Order, which allows you to get into the Baltic Sea, and the Baltic Sea can become ludicrously rich to rival Constantinople, especially if you've managed to get in there and snaffle Byzantium. Anyway, next. Stability cost modifier minus 10%, and monthly war exhaustion come down by a tiny smidgen. I really rate the monthly war exhaustion. I really do. And there are times when you have a little bit of war exhaustion, but you roll it into 2 or 3 wars, And so it kind of starts stacking on each other. Even though you're not taking losses for attrition, even though you're not building on that war exhaustion. And so instead of it just being flat and never ever coming down for, you know, whilst you're at war, at least you've got a tiny tick coming down. At least something's happening with your war exhaustion. You're not building up rebels. So yeah, value that. Stability cost modifier, it's alright. Poland gets some weird events for stability cost. You can knock a lot of percentages off your stability cost modifier. Off the cost of stability, I should say. So it helps, I suppose. National manpower modifier plus 25%. That's on par with quantity. Holy moly. And infantry compatibility plus 10%. I mean, it helps you fight, doesn't it? Anything that gives you a better unit than the one that you're facing off against when you're in a fight is going to be good. Next, cav compatibility plus 33%. And cav to infantry ratio plus 10%. Now, if you have a 50-50 cav to infantry ratio, and you adhere to the 50-50 ratio, 10 infantry, 10 cav. The infantry line up front and centre, and that's where the most amount of the damage occurs. That's why most players will feed in X amount of mercenaries into their forces, because the mercenaries stand front and centre, they take the brunt of the damage, and then your actual infantry, the ones that pull from your manpower pool up here, they stack up next to the mercenaries on either side, and then on the flanks you've got your cav. Now the moment one person dies, one infantryman dies, suddenly you're into insufficient support if you adhere to the 50-50, which is why I don't. If it's a 50-50, but it won't be, it'll be a 60-40. I would probably alter those numbers a little bit, just so that you don't want to be heading into insufficient support, because it's a really bad modifier for you when you're fighting. So if it says a 60-40, if it says a 50-50, if it says a 75-25, just add a few more infantry just to be safe. It's especially poignant if you're rolling fight into fight into fight, because your infantry will get decimated. Anyway, next one. Regiment costs minus 10%. Probably the weakest of all of these ideas. It's only money at the end of the day. Discipline plus 5%, really good. Morale of armies plus 15%. This is defensive idea group. You get plus 15% morale of armies from defensive idea group. So you take defensive and then you unlock this. It's a plus 30% morale of armies. That's a huge amount. These are really, really good idea sets. And they all blend really well with each other. Sometimes you get your traditions and your ambitions, they're totally different to your idea set. But these synergize really well. Colour me impressed. Anyway, let's get in. Poland. I'm on mode, of course. I will go... Well, no, Poland. Well, typing's hard. Typing's hard for me. Poland to Manchurian. With a Ruthenia in the middle. Sort of. Let's go. So, first steps first. First things first. We would like the early Jagiellon. If you want to read this, you can. Essentially, Poland and Hungary both had a fight with each other. Both of their leaders were killed, and therefore we start to interact them, as do they. First things first. At this stage, you can join the HRE. Did it in testing. I've also, I think there's about a 20-minute video that I did about if you want to join the HRE at this stage, you can do it. I will put that video in the description below, and you can join the HRE if you want. Gives you an element of protection, but it's not the best. It requires you to if you want to join the HRE, suddenly with Lithuania under you in a personal union, you're a big country in the HRE, so people will start voting for you. So you have to flip your play into dealing with this. And you could probably have a really good game, but it hamstrung me far too much. I'd rather just forget about this. Apart from Bohemia. Now, you have not rivaled Bohemia. This is not going to be the start that I want. But what you do is royal marriage, Bohemia, and your ally Austria. If you can get the PU over Bohemia, it just means that Europe this way is never a threat to you. You're allied with one and you've got PU over the other. Nothing here can really threaten you. And that's the ideal setup for me. But no, this is not the run. This is not the run. And you've rivaled me, which means it doesn't matter how much we improve relations with the Ottomans. They are never, ever, ever going to allow us to walk through their land. And that's fairly pivotal for getting into Byzantium early, for snaffling it away from the Ottomans, and from nerfing them quite aggressively. So, I am going to leave this here, and in the next episode, I know it's only been, it's a sub 20-minute video. This is unheard of on this channel. I never do sub 30-minute videos, I don't think. But the stars haven't aligned. I will be restarting the games. I will be restarting the games until there is Austria rivaled with Bohemia. Bohemia, who wants a marriage, they always want a marriage. That's not the thing. But then we need the Jagiellon to hit before Bohemia picks up a leader. Because if we don't have a Jagiellon, but we do have the royal marriage, chances are he will take a noble from us. And then we'll flip to Jagiellon, and then we can't press our claim because, well, we don't have the same ruling dynasty. And then within a month, it flips to Podspread. We need to be on the ball for that. We also need to have higher prestige than Bohemia. So, we also need here to be the prestige advisor, or we need a very early war into Teutonic Order to grab land, to bump our prestige up. It's going to be fun. However, this is not the jump, so I'm going to leave that here. I've been Luckymarine. As always, you lot have been amazing. The very next episode will be the episode where we get this thing kicked off. Until then, do take care.